let us please finally clear the air on lower ab training. This is an area where so many women feel very shameful, insecure, because they might have a bit of a bump here. They might just hold more fat here. They might just have a body type that just sticks out a little bit more over here. But that does not necessarily mean your lower abs are weak. Now, yes, somebody could have weak lower abs, and we're going to go over some things to help you discover to see if this is something you need to worry about. But I am making this video because so many women that I know have strong cores, including strong lower abs, but they feel like something is wrong with them because of the overwhelming information all over the internet, making them feel like you have weak lower abs because you look that way. And it's like, so the first thing I want you to discover is whether you're kneeling, you're sitting, you're standing. I'm just gonna let you to just let yourself be. And just look at that. Do you see how much I can like stretch out here if I'm completely relaxed? So if you have first the ability to just let yourself relax, you're really lucky, because some people don't know how to relax this, and a strong core is one that knows how to relax. Yeah. And so now that we got that out of the way, I want to say that there can be nuances. There can be little particular things we need to be mindful of when we are trying to assess core strength, because you might have things going on with your pelvis, you might have things going on with your ribs, your shoulders, your neck. But I am emphasizing all of this because I want you to start from a positive place. It's only when we start from a positive place are we going to be able to grow and get stronger. And also, we want to find out, like, where are you strong right now? Like use that to help lift you to the next step. Because if you have a good base of strength to begin with, we want to know that. We don't want to just feel like we're starting from ground zero. You might be starting at like level 5, level 7, 8, you know, and then you're only 2 or 3 points away from reaching number 10. Like, how good is that? Okay, the next exercise we're going to do, you're going to just lay down on the floor on your back, grab a mat. What I'm going to get you to do is try seeing if you can maintain a neutral spine. If you can lay here with your feet down, neutral spine, and you don't feel like you have to compress your back to feel comfortable on the floor, that is actually a great sign, because some people don't feel comfortable laying down like this on the floor. So, yay, if you can do it. And don't laugh, okay? This is really important. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna get you to do is try seeing that if you hold that lower abdominal region, so not on your belly button, just bring your hands a little bit closer to your pubic bone area. And then from here, not moving a thing with your rib cage and your pelvis, I'm gonna get you to do a pelvic floor contraction. See if you can feel that. And if you did that without feeling any tension anywhere, having to feel like you have to over squeeze or tilt your pelvis, congratulations. That is another woohoo for you. All right. The next thing I'm gonna get you to do is, can you create more awareness for how your pelvis can move in different ways? And this is a great representation of our whole core health. So this is called hammock. Can you do a posterior tilt and lift up and just hang out here? And can you do it without forcing any like major squeezes in your body? Just think about the bones morphing and moving in this position, and you feel pretty soft. And you feel the abdominals lightly draw back, regardless if you have anything in the front here, regardless if you have any extra weight, that's totally fine. You just want to feel something inside of you just deeply going back because you're creating this motion, okay? And you're just hovering from the floor. Congratulations, okay? Undo that, maybe arch, curl, okay? Now, can you maintain neutral rib cage and pelvis here? If you feel like your rib cage doesn't feel in alignment with your pelvis, you can always put a pillow or something for your head to help with that. So once you've got that sorted, can you maintain that stability of here while exhaling, pressing through your feet, coming up, not moving this. So I'm not moving my rib cage, I'm not moving my pelvis, everything is staying neutral as I go up and down. And don't worry about reaching sky high, just literally lift to whatever point you can right now, even halfway. Just maintaining that stability here. And then coordinating your breath. So breathing in lightly, you don't have to over exaggerate your breath here. And then exhale as you come in, pressing your feet into the floor. And then when you do that, you will feel, depending on your fitness level, you might feel a little bit of core engagement just naturally, but it's nothing intense. You might feel your glutes work, you might feel your hamstrings work, and then come down. And then just keep that stability without actually tilting. See that? So remember in the beginning, I just showed you the hammock, which is when you lightly do a tilt and you hang there, but do you have the control to exhale and stay stable as well in the neutral position? And I want to really emphasize that ability to not feel like you have to over-engage or tense everything, because when we feel like we have to over-engage and tense everything, it needs to actually match the effort that you're doing. So if I am like hip thrusting or doing a weighted glute bridge or something really hard, it's natural that when I go lift that heavy weight, I'm gonna feel more muscle fibers kick in. Or if I do like 100 bridges, I'm gonna feel muscles kick in. But if you have been working out for a while, you have a good base of fitness, you might do 10 or 20 bridges and it's not gonna wear you out. And just because you have that endurance, that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong because you're not feeling your muscles fatigued. You're only necessarily gonna feel your muscles sometimes fatigued when you have done enough stimulus to create that, oh shit, it's like I walked up 100 flights of stairs, right? But you didn't walk up 100 flights of stairs. You maybe only walked up 10 flights of stairs or 1 flight of stairs. You get the gist. All right. The next thing I'm gonna get you to do is you're gonna grab a block or maybe a ball here. Whichever you got, you're gonna place it in between your thighs or your knees. And I'm gonna get you to try seeing if you can maintain neutral here. And then while maintaining neutral with your pelvis and your rib cage, I'm gonna get you to squeeze the ball. Can you squeeze the ball, exhale as you do it, without over gripping anywhere here? Congratulations, and relax. So if you feel that when you squeeze and you're using your inner thighs, you feel your glutes start squeezing, or you feel like your pelvis has to move in order for you to create that motion, that's a sign that, hey, this is a level of strength that we really want to work on for our lower core, which also means pelvic floor too, that in order for you to create that engagement, you have to force yourself into particular positions, which we want to have the strength to actually stay neutral, meaning let this just be, okay, when you are able to fire this. So that's fantastic. Maybe a few other ways you can actually practice or just explore your core availability, your core strength. A common one that you may see is all fours position. Okay, so if I'm in all fours, can you let this relax? Hey, can you let it relax? Good job, congratulations. All right, because you'd be surprised, this curve that I got, when I'm concerned about someone's core on whether or not we need to work on it in different ways, is whenever they get into this position, the minute they try to move, they're gonna go into that right away. And when we wanna have a healthy, happy core, not only should it be able to obviously move in a lot of ways, but we wanna have what's called stability. Like that if my spine is neutral, like when you're walking, when you're standing, when you're squatting, when you're lunging, that you can actually maintain that alignment throughout the whole range. That's control. I'm breathing. I'm coordinating so many muscles here. And yes, that means that that little fat that you might have there will stay there. We're not going to do anything to hide it. Like, just let it be. That's very, very important, because that is your core actually being able to work in a happy way. And I know this can be hard to hear because you have probably heard so many other things. And I just think so much of this comes down to someone that might look ripped or might have a particular body style, and everyone says, oh, well, that's what the perfect image of a strong core, a strong lower abs is. And it's not. And I don't know what we have to say to get this into every woman's head, because it's something that's really stuck. So now we can now just take a moment to appreciate. Give yourself a clap for every move that you could do, and you could feel that control. And so then as we progress, we can start to do more advanced, harder exercises, but we need to make sure, or just remind ourselves in general, the point of the harder exercises is to help us do functional day-to-day activities like walking long distances, running if that's in your practice, squatting, hinging, lunging, lifting things up, right? And being able to do that with good alignment overall, like what's happening with your spine. Because if you're doing something with a good, happy, healthy spine, that means your lower abs are in a really good place. And that's something that we need to not forget about. So that doesn't mean that we are chasing a mat exercise that's gonna flatten your stomach. Like that is not actually what's transforming your core. But again, we've just been brainwashed in so many ways. And importantly, I will say though, to help us or just to give us a bit of exercise variety is maybe a more complex or advanced floor-based exercise or mat-based exercise with an accessory. That might be a good option if you cannot squat yet, if you can't lunge, if you can't do a push-up, or certain other exercises, they're just not available to you right now. So those would be other levels of progressions. So I hope that makes you think that, okay, if you can squat, if you can lunge, if you can deadlift, what can you do to put yourself, your spine, your core in a better position to do those movements better without stress or harm on your body? And a lot of the time, it's not necessarily that you need to do more specific activation exercises, but you just might need more help with your setup. Like there could be really tiny details that will just take load off your spine or just make you feel your legs work a little bit better, which is then just going to impact your whole 360 support of your core. So again, going back to the whole brainwashing about our lower ab region, we just need to make sure we're really checking this is in alignment with what our long-term training goals and lifestyle goals are. But I get it, you still want to be able to do other exercises that are going to work this area, and you just need a little bit more confirmation. So I'm just going to share with you some other advanced ones. Can you be neutral while having a ball in between your knees? Inner thighs, neutral spine. That's fucking badass if you can do that. Whether your legs are straight or bent. Can you do, whoops daisy, a dead bug, neutral, as an example. And then if you want to do any abdominal drawing back exercises, pelvic curls, depending on your practice, what's available to you, you can always do a reverse crunch or variations of them, or maybe even the plow. Okay, but I'm totally getting off topic here because those exercises really do require more than just abdominal support. They require a lot of coordination, practice, help from a lot of other muscles, not just checking in with that area. And ultimately, if you can do those things and feel the right things connecting, you're doing a great job. That doesn't mean that your abs are not supporting you. I am so much more concerned that if you are going for long walks and you have back pain, that would be a sign to me to say, okay, maybe we actually really need to work on your core. And I could have said so much more, but I'll keep it at that for today. This can be enough for you to check in with yourself where you're at right now. Do you feel like you can do some ground mat-based exercises with control awareness? Or do you feel like the minute you try to progress, you just do not feel safe? You feel like you cannot breathe. You have no control. Then yes, we have some things to consider. And also, of course, if you have pain, again, this is all gonna come back to technique because I truly believe so many people are strong. They just need to be modified just a tad and suddenly, woo, you know, the light bulbs, they just come on. So you're stronger than you think.